Hi, welcome to the Top 1% webinar. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Aicha and I'm the founder and CEO of the American Franchise Academy. So today we are going to be talking about what it takes to be a successful top 1% franchisee. And for that, I have prepared a presentation that I'm going to be sharing in my screen, but I just wanted to come in here and say hello and welcome everybody, since you're going to see me in a little corner on the upper right of the presentation. All right, so here we go. So again, welcome to the top 1% multi-unit formula and webinar. This is going to be a 1 hour webinar where I'm going to be first sharing what are the secret strategies, what are the processes and procedures that top performing franchisees implement to be able to be those, great performers. And then in the second half of today's presentation, I'm going to introduce you to our command program, which is something for you to consider as a tool and a resource to be able to implement everything that these top performers do in your organization so that you can be just like them. So with that being said, let's first share what are the top 10 challenges that are faced by franchisees. And these 10 points that I'm going to share with you are is information that we have gathered by working with many franchisees. And this is what they have told us that are the challenges that they face today, and potentially why you chose to be here with us today. So I want you to, as I'm sharing these things, I want you to think about which ones of these apply to you and maybe motivated you to be here today. The first challenge, and by the way, these are actually in order of priority based on what the franchises have shared with you. So the first one is staffing and people. We are in the people business, and for sure, this is the biggest challenge that you can find in the franchise organization, retail, brick and mortar business. Hiring, retaining, training, and scheduling people is the number one challenge that is faced by franchisees. The second one is systems and execution. How to have SOPs and structure and accountability and consistency across the organization. And I'm going to share with you in a little bit why this is such a big challenge for franchisees right now. Then, of course, leadership and development. How do I delegate? How do I train the managers and the leaders? And how do I build the team so that they can do an excellent job and be motivated? Then the fourth challenge is time management. Franchises tell me, Aicha, I am working way too much more than I thought it was going to be. I am overloaded. I don't know how to plan my time. What should I focus on rather than working on so many things and not seeing the results? Fifth is financial management and profitability. Too many franchisees are not experts at understanding the financial picture of their business. And this is critical for you to be able to be a successful franchisee. How to manage cost and understand your margins and be able to plan your financial future. Then the sixth challenge that they share with us is marketing and sales. Like, how do I plan for marketing? How do I increase my sales year over year? And how do I make sure that things are being executed in the front lines is the sixth challenge the franchisees share. And then the next one is inventory and ops. Everything about cost of goods and products, how to track it, how to look at the turns, the processing of the inventory, ordering of the inventory. That's the seventh challenge the franchisees are facing today. And then growth and expansion. How do I scale? I have 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, and as I'm adding units, it's just becoming more and more overwhelming. How do I do it in a way that I can expand and not triple and quadruple the amount of time that I work every day? And then how do I expand from there with success and have my team be ready for it? And then the ninth challenge is culture and team alignment. How do I build a culture that people are excited to be part of and that I'm able to communicate what's important, what's appropriate, and manage it right, the roles and the culture in the organization, because we know that we are a people business, right? Number one, but the culture will drive retention, and how people are motivated to achieve the goals. And the last but not least of the top 10 challenges is accountability and profit and loss results and expectations and overall poor documentation. So how do I hold my team accountable in a way that they still inspire to do great and not just because they're being held accountable, get mad with me kind of thing. So the question is, of all of these things that you see here, right? These are top 10 things that our franchisees say are the biggest challenges. And by the way, why they joined the command program that I'm gonna share with you later. Can you relate to any of these? Is this why you are here? It would be able to be great to be able to understand that. So I would love for those of you that are here, and I know we have an intimate call today, webinar today. Can you put in the chat? I just want you to put in there, how many of these can you relate to? Can you relate to one of them? Can you relate to three of them? Can you relate to five of them? Can you relate to all of them? And is that the reason why you are with us? So put that in the chat. Just put a number. How many of these do you relate to that maybe inspire you to come and join us today to be able to hear about, maybe the answers, right? How to make this happen. So Barry says, oh, all 10. Okay, Yolanda, all 10. Great. So, I guess this is right on, right? And again, this is exactly like we didn't make this up. We didn't went on the internet and research this. This is actually what franchisees told us as part of their onboarding process. And I see that you definitely can relate to that. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about what is the top 1% franchise formula. And what are those strategies that those people that are, in conferences come to the front of the room and are being recognized for their achievements? So to do that, let's first define what is a top performing franchisee. And the way that we define that is someone that has top sales, year over year sales growth. They have rapid unit growth. They're a large organization. They're great leaders. They have a strong culture, award winning in the brand, right? High profits, because obviously you top performing, you have high profits. And they have longevity, meaning that they are the brand legends. If you are in a legacy brand, those are the people that are being put in the Hall of Fame, right, of the organizations. I worked mostly with legacy brands like Domino's Pizza and Popeyes and Darden Restaurants, and of course, you had those brand legends that everybody wanted to know everything that they knew so that they could be just like them. So that's how we define top performing franchisees. And there are three things that these men and women have in common. The first one is that they have clear distinctions and understanding about their business. And then number two, clarity behind that. Because a lot of franchisees, they get into the franchise world and they're not 100% clear what the heck is that they got into, right? And they're just trying to figure out how things go by. But these top performing franchisees, they have clarity. They have these distinctions, and then they have clarity. And number three, they take responsibility to search and get what they're missing. And because they have the distinctions and they have the clarity, they know what to look for and take responsibility to do that. And that is the three things that these top performing franchisees have in common in behavior and reaction and activity. So let's start with what are those distinctions in the franchise world. Okay, so first of all, they have the distinction of what they are investing in a franchise. They have the distinction of what you get and what you don't get. They are clear about this, right? So they have a clear distinction. And this is one of what I call the biggest secrets in the franchise world, because a lot of people get into the franchise world thinking I'm going to get everything I'm going to need to be successful. And that is not the case. Top performing franchisees, have the distinction of what you get and what you don't get when you're investing in a franchise. And what you're getting when you're investing in the franchise is brand systems. These are the things that the franchisor is providing and will provide you with the revenue, which is the oxygen of the business, to be able to have the profitability. However, you would never see an FDD that will guarantee you any type of profit, right? But the brand systems that the brand that they have created, when they say proven, means that they have proven that if executed well, people are willing to give you money in exchange for that product or service. But that does not guarantee profitability. For that, you need the business systems to manage that business so that you can then make it profitable, right? They don't even guarantee sales. And depending on the maturity of the brand, you may or may not have the enough sales at the beginning, right? If you are in a startup or an emerging brand, you're going to have less sales when you open than you will in a mature or legacy brand, right? So this is something that is very important, that you have this distinction. So now we have the distinction of what it is that you get and that what is that you don't get. Let's go deeper to have the clarity behind this distinction. Okay, so in the clarity, I mentioned that the brand systems is what the franchisor gives you. Now, what are the brand systems? The brand systems are the product or service that we are offering our customers, and then the service process to deliver that product or service that we're offering. And then the image, everything that you see, touch, smell, experience with your senses that gives you the experience of that brand. And then, of course, marketing. And the marketing is based on whether you are paying a marketing fee or not. So if you're paying a marketing fee, in exchange for that, you are getting regional, national marketing. And depending on again, the maturity of the brand, you might end up just getting brand recognition and really not aggressive offers to increase revenue. So this is what the franchisor provides. This is exactly what you bought or you invested in when you bought the rights to have a franchise, the brand systems. And it is a franchisor's responsibility to continue to maintain and support and innovate in the areas of the product or service they deliver, the service processes, the image, the marketing, and all that comes with that. On the other side is the business systems, and that is the systems and processes to hire, retain great people, the team. And then the systems and processes to increase sales year over year in your business. I mentioned how, as a franchisor, you might be getting, in exchange of a marketing fee, you may be doing a regional or national marketing, but you're not going to be knocking on your franchisee's neighborhood asking them to come buy from you. That is the franchisee's responsibility, which is why you need to own your sales. And then, of course, profitability, all of the processes and systems and procedures to make sure that you're controlling your controllable costs and that you are selecting the right location, the right vendors, so that the financial model is profitable. That is up to the franchisee. And then, of course, the systems and processes to scale. Franchisors are not teaching you how to become a multi-unit franchisee. They are giving you the systems to be able to manage one unit. And this is the clarity that top performing franchisees have. They know what they get, they know what they don't get, and what they're responsible for. And so I talked a lot about systems, right? And systems are a set of processes, procedures, and policies that you need to achieve consistent results. This is how franchise brands have been able to be successful at scaling their units because they have these systems created. This is what you invested in. And you receive these documents and these procedures and policies in a form of an operations manual and training materials and job aids and guidance from the franchisor. So that's why the creation of systems is the paramount process for you to be able to be a successful franchisee. And so the way that those systems are created is, first you need to define them. What are those systems? Then you need to document them, and then you need to train your team on those systems, and then be able to delegate to them the operations. And then your job now is to follow up. Franchisors have been able to do that. They have defined, documented, trained you on this process and procedures, and now they have delegated to you the operations of that unit. You need to do the exact same process for the business systems. And this is what, many franchisees do not know. And I mean, with time and years and experience, eventually they figure out that they need to create a system to interview people, for example. I mean, this is just one of the, hundreds that you need to create. And you'll figure it out because the way that you do it is not the way the manager does it. And you realize, well, I need to define the process, and then I need to document it and create a template for it. And then I need to train the manager to do it. And now once I've done all that, now I can delegate, but that's not enough. You now need to follow up the same way that the franchisor follows up through audits and visits. You need to follow up with your team that they now actually successfully executing the management systems and the business systems that you have created. This is the clarity that you need to be able to understand what's needed. So let me go a little bit more deep into now, hopefully this is making sense to to you guys that are here and understand what it takes to be a successful franchisee. Okay, so let me go a little bit deeper now into each of those four systems that we always share that the franchisee needs to create. So first is team, and that is how to hire and retain the best people in your organization. As you know, people is the number one challenge for franchisees. It is the most critical element in your business. Everything that you do will be through people if you want to truly achieve the financial and time freedom that you thought you were going to get once you got into franchising. So, inside the team system, there are a few elements that you need to create. Remember, define, document, train, delegate, and then follow up. So, first of all, is leadership, being and developing the leaders that people are looking for, the actions of a leader and how to improve them. Like, you need to be able to have a system. This is again something that you need to create as a franchisee. How do I become the type of leader that my people need me to be? And how do I develop leaders in my organization that will inspire and lead the team to success? So what are the systems that you have to make that happen? The next one is the hiring process. What are the procedures, the steps, the tools, and the process to find, select, and hire the best people? If you only have one unit, you know how you do it. You know how you hire. You know how you interview. You know how you recruit. You know how you onboard. You know how you offer the job. You know all those processes and procedures and the policies, right? What you're looking for, all of those things. If you have one unit and you're doing it, you know that. And that's why when you have one unit, then you're good to go. But if you're going to grow, you need to be able to define, document, train, and delegate all of these processes and procedures so that other people, other leaders can do it instead of you. And the next one is retaining. What procedures do you have to measure turnover, to engage the people and earn the trust so that they are loyal to you and they stay with the company for as long as possible? Turnover is the biggest hidden expense in your business. There is no one line item in your P&L that says turnover. Turnover is truly embedded in almost every line item in your organization, but we're not measuring it, and yet it has such a tremendous impact in your organization. And for that reason, you need to have specific processes. Like, if I was to ask you, can you give me one process or procedure that you have in your organization that was created with the purpose of retaining people? Could you answer that question? Or even better yet, if I ask one of your managers what that was, could they tell me, we do this because we want to retain people? And that is what I'm talking about. Or for example, if you're in food service and you ask the franchisor, what do you do to ensure that you have food safety in your brand? The answer they're going to be, well, we have a standard that says that every product that is perishable or exposed to bacteria must be refrigerated and in a container that is sealed. Very clearly documented, very clearly explained and defined. So do you have something like that for retaining people? And the last process in here is inspiring. How do you inspire your people? What procedure do you have to inspire the people so that they can give us a discretionary effort? And what we say is a discretionary effort is that effort that is above and beyond what we're paying for. Like, you pay employees a certain amount of money for the job that they do, but they're going to give you that additional discretionary effort if you have inspired them to care about you, the team, the company. And that's when and that's what we want. We want people to be so committed to the company that they're going to give you that little extra oomph that is what makes people become top performing franchisees. So this is the system of team. As you can imagine, I can spend, days, we do actually days on just talking about the systems, but I want you to think about this and say, what areas of team are you struggling with in your organization today? And that was a lot, but can you share like one thing that you see it is the biggest issue that you may be challenged with? And if you put it in the chat, I'm going to come back and look at that so that I can answer any. And by the way, if you have any specific questions that you have about this, I will leave time at the end for us to be able to talk about it. Maybe give you some answers or tips if you want before we finish the call today. Okay. But I have a lot to share with you, so I'm going to keep going. All right, so let's go to the next system, and that is a system of income. And like I mentioned, the system of income is what is a system for you to be able to ensure that you have increased sales or revenue year over year. So the type of things that you need to have is, first of all, understanding your revenue. The process to analyze and understand where your sales is coming from and the different channels where they're coming from. Because if all you look at your sales as just sales and not go deeper into where the sales are coming from so that you can understand where the challenges may be, then you are leaving money on the table. Very important, because otherwise, how do we know where we need to get better at, right? Then the custody of cash. If your business at all collects cash, do you have procedures to protect that cash and the revenue that comes in that you already worked so hard to bring it in? And do you have a process, a procedure, policies to make sure that that money makes it to the bank? And again, this is what top performing franchisees have. Trust me, they do not lose a penny. They know exactly where the money is and when it is and how it gets to the bank. And then, of course, for you to own your sales, you need to have local store marketing, meaning a process for you to create a local store marketing plan that actually produces results. And not for you to do it as a franchisee, but for your unit managers to do it. And depending on how big you are, for your district managers to co-create it with the unit managers. And this is how you ensure, or should I say, this is how top performing franchisees ensure that the sales are going up every year, by creating these processes and procedures and implementing them with a high level of excellence and consistency across the organization. So my question to you today is, are your sales up over last year? And if they're not, what exactly are you doing about it? Or should I say, what exactly does your team know to do to own their sales? And that is what a top performing franchisee does. All right, so let's go to the next system, and that's a system of profit. That is, how do you turn now the revenue that coming in into actually profitability in my pocket? First of all, you need to understand the numbers. And understand the numbers means you need to know what your KPIs are, key performance indicators, how to read and interpret your financials so that you know where your business is, where it's going, and where you need to improve it. What do these things mean, and how to change them and achieve the outcome that you expect? You need to first understand your numbers. And then you need to be able to control your cost. And these are, what are the procedures? Again, can I ask a manager in your organization and ask him, what is the procedure for you to achieve your labor cost? And it's very important that they can give you the specific steps or things or actions or processes that they follow to achieve that. It should be crystal clear for any manager, right? So there's a procedures to determine the targets. What are the actions they need to take to move the results to desired outcomes? They need to have clarity on what are the critical drivers of each of those KPIs. What are the things that drive successful labor costs, so efficient labor costs? What are the critical drivers that drive, high sales? What are critical drivers that drive, low waste on cost of goods, etc.? Very important that is clear for you and for your unit managers to be able to be a top performing franchisee. And then something that is without an exception that happens in a top performing franchisee is that there is a culture of metrics. People know the numbers. You move what you measure. If you don't move it, how do you know if you're winning or losing? Or what to move if you don't have the numbers, right? So they need to have procedures to create a culture of metrics where the team pushes for results and not you keep pushing and pushing for them. If they have a culture of metrics, they will be working towards achieving them, because that will be the mission and the goal of the organization. And this is how you are able to achieve the profitability that you want every single year. And that takes me to the question of, are you achieving your financial goals? First of all, do you even have a financial goal? One of the things that we do in our command program is we get together every October or early November, and we do the financial planning for the whole next year. So our guys and ladies know exactly what they're supposed to accomplish every month. And now they see the results and they can compare towards the plan, and then they know whether they're achieving the goal or not. If you don't have a financial plan, they're just hoping and praying that that you make enough money by the end of the year. And this is a business, right? You invested a certain amount of money, you should expect a certain amount of return. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that is to have clear financial goals and then be able to measure how you're doing against them every day or every week and every month. So are you achieving your financial goals? And then that brings us to the system of scale. And this is how do you go from 1 unit to 2 to 3 to 10 to 15, right? Because, 1 unit is a job. I do not want franchisees to have a job. I want franchisees to build an enterprise so that you can have time and financial freedom. And the only way to do that is by you building a multi-unit organization. So you have to have the systems to be able to scale your business into that. So some of the things that you need to have is the infrastructure to grow. You need to have an internal and external team that can help you grow the multi-unit organization. And the question is, when do you have an external team and when do you have an internal team? And those are the decisions that you have to make along the way, because you don't want to end up spending your cash flow and your profit in an infrastructure that is too big to support what you have coming in. And so this is an art and science exercise. And if you do this the right way, you're going to be investing what you need when you need it and not have the waste that would then allow you to grow and scale and still be supported to grow your organization. Then, of course, you're going to be opening units or acquiring units. So do you have a unit opening process or unit acquisition process that you are going to be able to open more units successfully and with confidence? I remember one of our earlier clients would tell me that, Aisha, every time I open a new unit, I end up making less money overall because it's just consuming so much of the processes that the percentage of profitability will go down as they opens more units. I said, I don't want to keep opening more units because I'm going to end up with no profitability at all. And so it's important that you have a process that you can open units with success and actually truly increase your profitability per unit, because you should have scale and therefore benefits by having more units, and therefore your profitability should be actually higher and not lower. And then the next thing that you need to have to be able to scale properly is create a multi-unit supervision process, right? You need to eventually hire a district manager. When do you hire them, and what is their role, their responsibilities, and their routines, so that you can truly delegate operations to them, and then you can focus on strategy and leadership and continue growth. Having that multi-unit supervision, a multi-unit district manager role clearly defined so that they can take over operations is going to be very important for you to continue to have the profitability you deserve and the freedom to focus on other things that as a business owner, you need to. And so my question to you, and I would like to see that in the chat, how many units do you want to have in 5 years? Because that will drive a lot of your decisions. And if you say, like, in 5 years, you want to have 10 units, are you ready for it? Or are you preparing yourself for that? And are you clear what steps you need to take to be able to get there if that's the goal? I have some franchisees that have gone, working with us from 3 units to 15 units within 2 years. And it is 100% doable if you are ready to receive those units in your organization and do it successfully every single time. And so the next thing that you need to have, part of the clarity that top performing franchisees have is the clarity of investment. So what do I mean by that? How much have you invested in your brand systems, meaning your franchise, right? You invested in a franchise. You thought you were going to get everything you needed to be successful. But the reality is that you're getting the product or service that you're selling, the service processes, the image, and the marketing. Now, how much are you investing for this part of the business? The franchise fee is anywhere between 10,000 and 30,000, maybe sometimes a little bit more. Your build out or acquisition expense, 250,000 plus, assuming it's a brick and mortar business. Then every week or every month, you are paying royalties, 4 to 7% royalties ongoingly and forever. And then you are actually also paying for marketing fees if you have marketing fees in your organization, which right now 90+% of franchisors do. So as an additional 0 to 4% of sales, oh, that's misspelled, I see that, of sales. So this is what you're investing every day every month in the franchise to have proven brand systems. My question is, how much are you investing to have proven business systems? How much have you invested in time and money and resources to have the systems for team and have great people, for income and have sales growth year over year and profit to turn that revenue into profitability and to grow and scale so you can achieve time and financial freedom? And when I ask this question, a lot of franchisees tell me, nothing. I really have not spent any money on this part of the business. I was not clear that this is something that was my responsibility. And here I am all this time expecting the franchisor to do it for me. And they're not going to, because it's not what you bought from them. And here's where the responsibility comes in. Today there is lots of training and support for unit brand operations. So the franchisor is giving you an ops manual and training materials and processes, annual conferences, guidance, visits, right? All to teach you how to manage the one franchise unit brand operations. But there is very little for multi-unit business ownership and management, because again, that is your responsibility. And a lot of the times they're not giving you that clarity of what you need to do. And on top of all of that, today business owners, and we spoke about all these challenges, there's staffing issues, their revenue challenges, natural man-made disasters, increasing costs. Let's talk about inflation, complex decisions that you need to make every single day. And sometimes you don't have the base knowledge to be able to make them with confidence. So the consequences, of course, is franchisees are having challenges. There are, having unfulfilled expectations, not achieving the profit that they were hoping. They're stressed, and in too many occasions they become failures, which is what we want to change. And the reality is that if nothing changes, nothing changes, meaning that if you are in there, a couple of you were able to really identify with the top 10 challenges the franchisees faces today. And if we don't change something, those are not going to change. And so the next thing is take action. Top performing franchisees understand where they are, right? They have the distinction, they have the clarity, and they take responsibility. And the way that they do that is they take action to change whatever it is that they need to change. They reach out to online programs and mentors and fellow franchisees. So sometimes they reach out to coaches and people that might guide them on business management, right? Or educational programs. So these franchisees, they did not figure it out on their own. Or maybe they did, but it took them a decade or two to be able to become eventually a top performing franchisee. If you want to do it faster, and you don't have this knowledge, you need to reach out and take responsibility and for that knowledge and reach out to the resources that are out there. And so let me say that we are one of those resources. So I want to be able to share with you about our command program. We are the American Franchisee Academy, and we have been helping franchisees get the knowledge, the tools, and the resources to be successful since 2016. We are celebrating this July our 9th anniversary, and we're super proud of that. And what we want to do is we want to have franchisees be able to know exactly what to do to achieve their goals, to be able to make decisions with clarity and confidence, to be able to go on vacation and not worry. I mean, every time our franchisees go on vacation, we celebrate with them, say, yes, that is what we want. To be able to know that your people have your back, that you can go to Hawaii and things are going to continue to operate properly in, back home with your business, that you are going to be able to know what it takes to make sure that every one of your units is profitable, and to be able to grow your multi-unit enterprise with success. And this is what we provide. Now, our clients come from all kinds of industries and brands and businesses and even countries, actually, because what we focus is not on your brand systems. Your franchisor is the expert in those. What we focus on is in the business acumen, the business systems that you need to implement to successfully and profitably run your business and grow it. And that's why our brand clients come from all kinds of areas. And as you can see, from startup, emerging brands, mature brands, many, many legacy brands, franchisees trust us in this process. So because of that, I've mentioned that we are celebrating our 9th anniversary. We have developed a development ladder. And it starts with unit management. We created a unit management basics class that is focused on shift leaders, assistant managers, unit managers, single unit franchisees. Anybody that's going to run a shift by themselves should go through our 4-week unit management program. Then we have the unit management advanced. That's for assistant managers that are about to be promoted unit managers, or for existing unit managers, and for single unit franchisee. So if you're here and you're a single unit franchisee, not expecting to grow anytime soon, these are the two programs that you definitely should be looking into. Now, if you're a multi-unit franchisee or have a district managers, that's where the multi-unit leadership district manager program is a 10-week program, and it's designed for future DMs, somebody that's about to be promoted into the district manager position or existing district manager positions, or for franchisees that are multi-unit that they themselves supervise their own stores. And then, of course, the last one is a multi-unit franchise ownership. That is the Command program. That's for new franchisees, growing franchisees, and multi-unit franchisees. So basically, it's for anyone that has an enterprise and is growing it or is going to grow it. If you're only going to have one unit, the Command program is not for you. But if you are growing a multi-unit enterprise, the Command program is for you. And that is what we're going to focus on for the rest of the day today. That's the Command program. There is no other program like it. You can look around and you're going to see that there is nothing like this. We focus 100% on tactical, practical systems, processes, procedures, templates, tools, knowledge, no fluff. We have the no fluff zone here at the American Franchise Academy. And what we do is we focus on the franchise systems. You know, we want to make sure that the things that the franchisor does not and cannot provide is what we provide you with Command. So if you're a franchisee, you need to take advantage of everything the franchisor has to offer, and we will cover the rest with the business acumen and the business systems that you need to be successful, so that all the questions that you may have had up to this point, we will give you the answers for it. So that's our signature program, and it is designed for you to learn and implement, like I mentioned, the management systems that you need to be in command of your business, which is why we call it Command Program. Okay, so I want you to hear from one of our clients so that you can start getting an idea of what the Command program is all about.
My husband and I have been franchisees for 12 years now, and we are up to 4 locations now, 4 stores. I really thought I could just work a little harder, work a little longer, and I could do it all. And I could have one hand in each store, and I can really do it all, right? I could lead my leaders, I could lead the managers, and I could maintain control over all these stores. And I was not equipped. I didn't have the tools or the training or the information I needed to make them successful that way. I didn't have the, we talk about financial freedom, certainly did not have the time freedom. It was more demanding than I anticipated. And our franchisor didn't give me the training that I was assuming that I would get. So I just started searching online, trying to find training. I assumed some online training or some classes or something to help me, because I knew that there were things I should be looking at that I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. When we bought into your program, it was like, this is exactly what I needed. This is exactly what I was searching for. I don't know how you can, without training into this position, I don't know how you can move forward as profitable without it. Unless you have someone guiding you that knows and that has the experience in the training, I don't know how you would be as profitable. I know that we are, and we're going to continue to be. And as we continue to grow, I'm very thankful that we're part of the group, and we're going to be much smarter moving forward. Really, it's hard to say where we would be if we had not joined the Command, but I'm very thankful we did.
Something that's really interesting about Angela is that she had 4 successful Dairy Queens, and she was just, overwhelmed. She, as you saw, she mentioned the lack of time freedom. And as soon as she was able to start implementing the systems, not only was she able to start getting more freedom from the organization, but also improve the profitability, because she was giving her leaders the tools to be able to manage the business the way she knew how, but now with much better guidance and processes that she could easily follow and delegate to her team. So our curriculum of the Command program is based on systems. It is all the systems that we talked about, the systems of team, of income, of profit, and of scale. Everything that you need to be successful as a franchisee is what is covered in the curriculum of the program. And all the systems and processes and procedures, not only will you have the clarity of what they are, we will even help you document them so that you can start training your people and delegate operations to them so that you can now only follow up and ensure that they are actually doing what they need to be doing. And that is what we include and is covered in the curriculum. Going a little over. So let me just talk to you about the methodology that we use. How do we share with you about this program? And so first of all, the perspective is we assume you're a new franchisee and that you are a growing franchisee. Only growing franchisees should join the command program. And we do that because we want to make sure that we're going to share everything that you need to be successful. If there are things that you're already good at, you will skip those, but we will cover everything that you need, not only the knowledge, but also the tools, the forms, the templates that you need to be successful. It is a guided program, so it's not like you are going to be joining a bunch of videos and that's it. You will have a community manager that will be supporting you along the way. You will have a coach that is going to be there for you. And by the way, I am the one personally manage this program. I am the coach. We do have special guests from time to time, but this is the one program that I am your direct coach when it comes to the command program. For our other programs, the unit management, basics, advanced, and the district manager, we have other instructors that teach that. But if you were to join the command program, I would be your personal coach and guided for this process. It is a monthly plan. So we provide you with a month-to-month plan to advance. And yes, we do have online learning. So we do have video recordings of all the lessons that you need to acquire. And we create and build a monthly plan for you to go through it so that it doesn't become overwhelming because of the amount of knowledge that you're going to have access to. There will be downloadable templates, and you will have, like I mentioned, a personalized plan to go through it. So it kind of looks like that. There is the lessons there. If there any process, procedure, or policy that requires a tool or a template, that will be included with the appropriate lesson so that you can download it, take a logo out, put your logo in, and they are all editable so that you can adapt them to your particular organization and brand. We also have weekly mastermind calls. Again, this is for you to be able to share with a whole lot of other multi-unit franchisees that are doing the same thing that you're doing. We have these calls that, even though we call them weekly mastermind calls, they are actually 3 times a month. They are 2 hours long. There's a Q&A and discussion, and this is the favorite for participants. So you're going to be in a room with a lot of franchisees that they're going to become your friends because you're going to know a lot about their business. They're going to know a lot about yours, and they're going to be sharing with you what they know and they have learned in their business, and it is just amazing. We are also going to have an access to the library of mastermind calls going back 3 years. We started recording them 3 years ago and making them accessible. And you can actually just search topics. So you don't, if you have a particular challenge on, let's say you want to know how to do a salary strategy or career pathing or bonus program, you can go back and do a search and see if every time in the mastermind calls that those topics were discussed, they will come up and you will see them and you can actually watch what was discussed and share during that call. Again, all the people that are in the program, in the command program, are either growing, existing multi-unit franchisees. And again, there is 3 years back of history of these calls. Now, what is the time commitment for the command program? Well, first of all, you will have access to 1 to 2 hours a week of recorded lessons that you should be watching and being able to see the knowledge that you need. Again, the mastermind call is 2 hours per week, but it's only 3 times a month. So there is skip weeks every month because we know you're busy. And so that's why there are 3 times a month. And they are on Tuesdays, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern. And then they're going to be action items. You're going to be implementing what you're learning, and you're going to be documenting the things using our tools so that you can have the documentation of your processes to then share with your team. So what we're saying is 8 to 10 hours a month of what we call working on your business. You know how we always say you work in your business? This is working on your business. Like this is the 8 to 10 hours a month that you're going to be really dedicated to making your business better. And after the 12-month program, your business will be completely transformed. So let's hear from one more of our command participants.
I would recommend the command program to any franchisee, and it doesn't matter what size you are. If you're just getting started or thinking about starting a franchise, you can actually set up your systems beforehand and get started the right way and just hit the ground running. It's a good process, and that's kind of what I was looking for. It's very structured, which I love, and it's, if you follow it step by step, it's going to set you up for success. I know from just the initial standpoint of kind of looking to compare what we already had versus what the command program had, it was really good to look at the comparisons, because we could fill the gaps of what we need. You're definitely going to take away definitely some nuggets that's going to improve your current operation, or if not, it will totally change the whole dynamics of your organization to just make it more efficient, more streamlined, and thus more profitable. Without the command course and Aicha's, I would say, guidance, we would have been a very difficult standpoint to kind of grow. Don't be concerned with the price, because you're going to get your money back tenfold. There's no doubt about that. I have no doubt if you apply the lessons and everything that Aicha teaches in the command class, and also take into account all the valuable best practices that you get from your mastermind group that's in your session. I mean, you're going to be set for life, basically. If you're not looking at your business differently, if you're just kind of going with the flow, you're losing a lot of money on the table. You're losing a lot of opportunity, and you probably could help a lot more people, especially your employees, that really are looking for that kind of structure. And that's what the command provides you. It provides structure, clarity, and a great flight path to success. You don't know what you don't know. Get in right now and you won't regret it.
So great. This is Sumange. He, by the way, he joined the command program when he was in the process of negotiating taking over a 7-unit Subway franchise. So when he was still going through the acquisition process, he joined the command program because he wanted to learn what systems needed to be put in place to manage a multi-unit organization. His background was in finance, by the way. He was in the banking industry. But he knew that he did not know what those systems needed to be, and he wanted to be successful, especially when he's going from 0 to 7. Imagine the investment, right? And so he was an amazing student, which is, obviously what we're looking for. What he has been able to do within 2 years, he went from the 7 units that he accomplished to 21 Subways, okay, within 2 years, because he had that clarity, that learning curve the franchisees go through. For him was much shorter because he was able to get everything from us, and that gave him the clarity, as you mentioned, and the confidence to expand quickly. And that's what he has done. Actually, he's now over 20 units in 2 separate states. So with the command program, there are also bonuses, okay? So not only do you get to have everything that we mentioned about the command program, but also you have the ability that we are going to be completing a management manual with you. That means that as you're going through the process and you're documenting your systems and you're learning and designing, your templates and we're going to be co-creating your management manual. That means that you're going to have a tool, a documented tool that you can use to train your managers and leaders on all the systems that you have defined for your organization. This will also become a reference for your managers and leaders. So every time you open a new store, you're going to have your ops manual from the brand and the management manual for your leaders. They can see in the ops manual, how do they duplicate the product or service that you're selling? And in the management manual, how to do effective scheduling, how to do proper ordering, how to do proper interviewing. I mean, everything that they need to be successful, that's what we're going to be co-creating as part of your bonus of this program. It's a perfect, like I mentioned, complement to your brand operations manual. And we do give it to you in a 3-ring binder, but you also get an electronic copy so that you can edit this document from now on forever. Once you have it, it is yours to keep, and you get to edit it for the rest of the time that you have your organization. This alone, just the management manual alone, is a minimum $8,500 value. I have not found any company that would do anything like this, and definitely not personalize it the way that we do for any less than this amount of money. And of course, the table of contents is 15 sections. And what we do is, as you join the command program, I mentioned it's a 12-month program, we are building 1 to 2 sections a month, depending on how you are completing the process that we need for you to be able to, for us to be able to co-create it with you. We have done the copy of the management manual, but you need to provide the adapted tools and resources that with our tools so that we can include them in the management manual. The second bonus that's included is that you will have full access to the multi-unit leadership certification program too. The entire lesson of our 10-week program for district managers, which by the way is $2,900 for the 10-week program, you will have, as a commander, full access to these lessons the entire time you join our program. And by the way, while you're a commander, if you have a district manager, you want them to go through the program, every employee in your organization gets a 25% off in any of the programs that we deliver while you are a commander. We do not give 25% off anywhere except for our commanders. And like I mentioned, this program was launched 3 years ago, and we have over 350 graduates of that program already. And the next bonus is you have also complete access to our unit management certification program. This is the 4-week basics program and the 5-week advanced program. The 4 weeks basics is $850. And the advanced program which is 5 weeks, is $950. That's an $1,800 value that you will have access to the entire time that you're in the program. And again, if you want to put any of your managers through these programs, your people get 25% discount on any of these classes. And, because of command, so many things are possible for you. You are able to go on vacation and not have to worry about what's happening behind you. You'll be able to know that your people have your back. I mean, like I mentioned, we have had franchisees that go on vacation all the time. One of our franchisees went on a 1-month vacation and things went well, right? So it is so important that you are able to build this enterprise and have your people have your back, right? And you will know exactly how to achieve your goals. Because, by the way, one of the things that is not written in here, I don't think, is that once a month I mentioned the financial planning that we do. We actually have a retreat that we go and get together in person for 3 days. And in those 3 days, we build together your financial plan for the next year. And I will be there in person with you. And if you're not able to travel with us, then I actually do it a different week online, so you will not miss the opportunity to build your financial plan. So we'll be able to make decisions with clarity and confidence. And all the questions that you may have right now, you will have answers to, and you will know exactly what to do. So let's hear from one more of our participants before I go into the question and answers. Oh, and the investment. I forgot to tell you how much the program.
My wife and I own 3 European wax centers in the inland Northwest, sort of Eastern Washington, North Idaho. I came to the command program originally in probably a session like you're in right now. It was actually right during COVID. We had 1 center open. We were getting ready to open a second. I listened to it. I did the evaluation. It was clear that I really could have used all of the help. And I was so impressed by the material that was being presented. I was so impressed with the way it was being presented that I said, okay, I got to do this. And I make the joke that, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. It has been a phenomenal experience for a number of reasons. One, it helps to reinforce a lot of the higher level approaches to how we should be running our franchise. I'm often sort of struggling between being too operational and in the weeds at the center versus should I be too far out and want to be involved, but we don't want to be too disconnected. The nice thing is that this is a framework that really talks to how should I be running my operation. That's the void that's filled in with the command program. 3 years ago or 2 years ago, whenever COVID was, had I taken it, I would have had a manual now that I could have handed new managers and they would have been off and running. And I wouldn't be trying to split myself multiple ways across multiple centers. I would have had a specific guidebook. I would have had something that was a reference for how we want to operate our particular franchises. And I think it's fantastic. The value is certainly in all the materials and going through the process and applying the process to your very own franchise. But above and beyond that is the ability to bounce ideas and hear great ideas from other franchisees in a lot of different industries. I've received a tremendous amount of value from participation, and it really is actually putting into place, not just sitting and listening or reading or taking the classes, but actually putting in place those templates, those processes, and deciding what we want to do locally. And it has been tremendously worthwhile for me.
Yeah, Mr. Dave in European Wax Center. Yeah, he's amazing. All right, so what's the investment? The investment is $1,100 a month or $12,000 for one payment. That is half, if not less than half, more than half to what you paid for the franchise fee alone of your business. So think about what was the investment that you have done and continue to do every month in royalties and marketing fees towards the brand systems that the brand is providing. Now, a one-time investment to be able to create the systems and processes and procedures for you to be able to delegate to your team on how to manage your business profitably and successfully. And once you have done it, it's a one time. It's not like an ongoing thing. There's no royalties for that. Once you know how to do this and you have had documentation to be able to delegate, you will be able to take what you already learned and done and documented for all the managers and all the units that you might acquire in the future. Even if you go multi-brand, you're going to be able to use the same document into different brands, because at the end of the day, how you manage deposits is how you manage deposits. How you interview is how you interview, right? How you discipline your people is how you discipline your people. So you will be able to implement or use the same tool, mostly, not all of it, but mostly for any brand that you might open in the future. And of course, you can adjust it and whatever is necessary, but it's a one-time investment. And have someone like me with 35-year experience of having done this myself with small, medium, and large organizations to share in exactly what I have learned and accumulated in, like I said, over 30 years of experience. And the last 9 working with many franchisees from many different brands, and all of that knowledge you will have now access to. So that $1,100 a month for 12 months or $12,000 one payment includes everything that we shared in here. And by the way, it also includes one partner or husband or wife or leader in your organization that you want to partner with and go through the program, because we know that, most people want to go with someone else. They want to do it with someone else. If you don't, that's fine. But if you do have a partner or spouse that you want to be included, they will also be included. So who is this for? Ideally, participants are brick and mortar businesses, by the way, because obviously all of our tools and resources are focused on a brick and mortar business. And so anybody that is a future franchisee with a signed agreement that are going to go multi-unit, this is for you. If you're a new franchisee that you're growing, this is for you. Or you're a franchisee and multi-unit franchisee and you're not meeting your objectives, this is for you. If you're a franchisee that wants to grow but doesn't have the confidence to do that, this is for you. Or if you're already a multi-unit franchisee and you're struggling, this is for you. And of course, if you want to become a top performing franchisee program and you don't know how to achieve that, this is for you. So again, ideal participant is someone that cares about people, because if you don't, caring about your people will be the first step to be able to be successful. If you care about your people, everything else will be easy. You have to be willing to block about 3 hours per week to work on your systems. Even in the week that we don't have a call, you need to be able to and be willing to block about 3 hours per week to work on your systems. You need to have a basic knowledge and understanding of Microsoft Office, Word, and Excel, because a lot of these things are being used with those tools. You need to be coachable, and you need to be committed to execute the systems. And you really need to badly want time and financial freedom. If this is who you are, the Command program is for you. So if you're ready to invest in your business, I'm not going to ask you to register right now, because of course we want to be able to be very careful about who we add to our program. As you can imagine, in our group of mastermind franchisees are amazing. And trust me, it's a group that you're going to want to know and becomes friends with. So if this is of interest to you, and you want the program and you realize this is exactly what you've been looking for, all you need to do is go to www.commandapply.com and then fill up the application. Let us know who you are, what are you looking for, what are your challenges, so that we can be clear that you will be not only a great candidate, but someone that we can definitely help achieve the goals that you want and deserve. Or if you'd like to have a personal call with me, obviously, I'm available. I would love to have a conversation, answer any questions you have. If you would like to have a personal call with me, all you need to do is go to www.callwithaicha.com. Pick the day and time that works best for you, and let's talk. Let's see if this is what you're looking for, and if this is what you can use to be able to achieve your goals with your franchise organization. By the way, we only accept 3 new members per month. For our other programs, the class is 25 students per class, etc. But for the command program, we only accept 3 new members every month because we go through an onboarding process. We assess your business. We have a 112-point assessment. We understand where you are. We do monthly planning, etc. So we want to do it the right way. So we only take 3 new members per month. So again, it's $1,100 a month, or a $12,000 one payment if you like some savings, and it includes everything or a partner. So with that, we have 3 spots open. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing the screen. Thank you for joining me on this webinar today. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. If not, please, my email. You can always reach out at aishab@alphamail.com and answer any questions you may have, or schedule a call at callwithaicha.com. Or if you're ready to apply, just go to commandapply.com. And I would love to be able to welcome you into our program and help you in the journey of becoming a successful, top-performing multi-unit franchisee.